Yo, welcome to It's Up There podcast. I am your active and attractive host, Big Loon, for another episode of the fastest growing podcast in the world right now. Vibes high on this side. Let's get the business out the way. If you're listening to the audio adventure of this podcast, I need you to head to patreon.com, FOGFOTV. There you can choose a package and get both my shows. They're ad-free without any commercials. Tap in, get your merch, talk to me. They'll help me with topics. I make it real interactive over there, and we're building the business in that way. Meet us on Patreon. If you are, say, catching this on YouTube, that's the third leg of my video part of my business. I welcome you guys as well. I want you to hit subscribe and share on whatever platforms you got, whether that be Facebook or Twitter. We have to tap into the algorithm. We fighting against the machine. Let's get that out the way. If you're on YouTube, shout out to you. But Patreon is where the vibes really live at. But we appreciate everybody as we're building this. And so me, man, this business is moving fast for me. I get a lot of love. And I was just at a meeting with Slimmy Huskies. They're putting in a bid to be presenting sponsor on the pod. So we're working on a contract or a partnership, ad sponsorship thing for them. But I was just speaking to them about everything that we have to go through, like as black men with businesses in this world, right? And how much gravity is attached to going into these meetings and coming out of these meetings and the traveling and the building and the planning, and don't be hands-on with the business, right? A lot of people work themselves into a place where they take their hands off a lot of things. I'm one of those creators, man, that I haven't got to that place where I'm able to trust anyone with this yet. Like some of the best people in the game can't convince me that they can do something better than we can do together without my presence. And they can, but they just can't convince me of that. I'm knee deep in it, right? Because for me, right, I've never had an opportunity like this. And as a man, it activates something when you work hard and you see results. It's a reason why some of them big buff dudes, them niggas that go to working out a little bit and see a little six pack, now they locked in. It's over. Little muscle pop up. That's why they say just work a little bit, see a little result, and you gonna get it going, because now you self-motivate. But it's a fight, like the language, the understanding of language. And we about to get into Kanye West, right? He just popped out, and I don't know what he spoke about. We just gonna watch it live, but just the language of all these companies and contracts, and we talking millions of dollars on the line. Like, you can tell somebody that and they don't really understand it. It's like, do you understand that I'm fighting for millions of dollars and you bothering me about that shit you talking about? You understand? I'm fighting for this whole shit and you bothering me about some bullshit. I'm in a real fight with the biggest companies in the world that got 100 years of data on how to write contracts and screw niggas out of companies. And I'm in this place where the company worth millions of dollars and you fucking with me about the lights or some bullshit. Be very careful who you allow in your circle. And some people like, yo, I'll fuck her, but I won't be in a relationship with her. Or some girls may be like, yo, I'll fuck dude, but I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with her or be in a relationship with him. And sometimes those situations turn into situations that turn into situations. And now you're in a situation. I spoke about on the last part, or maybe 2 parts ago, can you be with the person that you fucking in your darkest hour? When you going through the worst time of your life, can the person that you fucking and laying with and spending your time with and giving your attention to, can you be with them when you in your worstest hour? Or is it just cool when you doing what they say? When you working on a multi-million-dollar company, can that motherfucker that say they love you be happy for you because you getting closer to your goals? Or will they exhibit the selfish behavior and get in the way of the touchdown? You ever seen a motherfucker on the team that's throwing the game? That's how some of these people be when they be in relationship with people. You throwing the game. You trying to fuck up the whole thing. The unique thing about love is it costs too much. Right? When it's cool, but it costs too much when it go bad, because now you got to rebuild. And that rebuilding seemed like a long process. You know? The shit opens you up for disappointment. Because when you are sick or something happens to you, you're going to want that person that you thought loved you to show up. They didn't show up. Damn. They left me in this hospital. How I'm supposed to feel about that? I got the deal. They didn't even call and congratulations. Every time they say congratulations, that shit feels sticky. They giving away sticky congratulations. That shit feel funny coming from over there. Why do why your congratulations feel funny? Nah, why yo I'm proud of you don't feel right. Something don't feel right about you getting money. Something don't feel right about you changing. You saying, look, something don't feel right about that shit you. Why your congratulations don't feel right? See, I'm on to people, right? They think you stuck on words. They don't know vibration is real. So even though they saying congratulations, you can feel it. You can feel it. Even over the phone. I want to speak about this too. And I'm just rambling at the beginning of the pod, man. We'll get to Kanye West popping out. But there's a unique thing that happens with human beings and scapegoats. Right? Every time something happens, and we even see right now, right? Something's happening with Saweetie. With she didn't sell a lot of records, right? I think she sold 2K, and everybody's coming out and they're saying, yo, and I seen Hitmaker come out, and this is part of why I'm speaking about this, but Hitmaker came out in response to Saweetie selling 2K records, 2,000 records in her first week, but having, I think, 10 million followers. He said that this is why he hates analytics, because everybody's looking to blame it on the numbers and say, yo, the numbers said to protect their job. And maybe 10 months ago, I started to speak about that there's very little risk taken in the business because job security. And I started to speak about why people have an opportunity to deal with generational talent, won't pay the cost, and wonder why they'll pay a 10x on the other side of that. Because some people are just going to go no matter what. I'm one of those people. And when he was speaking to the numbers, it made me think about the scapegoat and how people want to have someone to blame and somewhere to point and something to rid themselves of whatever bad decision or bad behavior or ill-advised marketing or whatever it may be. Whatever mistakes were made, there's always going to be a situation. Well, most times there'll be a situation, at least in this business, where people won't take the blame. They're going to point it at something. Well, the number said that we should have went that route and she didn't need a feature and we didn't have to spend that and we shouldn't have done this. I see Vlad come out and say, yo, if she would have just came and sat with me, that she would have sold more than 2K. I want to have a real conversation with some of these guys about the real authenticity of things like that. Like how much of that is converting? How much of that really is converting for a Saweetie to come sit with Vlad? How many records is that really selling though? I really want to ask Vlad that. Like, is that a real thing? Like, or is we just kind of getting in the mix out there? Do you really believe that Vlad could have moved the needle for Saweetie? Somebody tell me. Maybe I'm lost. I think I got a pretty good barometer on the game. I think I kind of know what's happening around here. I'm not sure that people are interested in Saweetie for music. And this is another thing that you have to understand. And not even, first of all, let's get off the numbers thing. The numbers thing is a trick. And not because Saweetie sold 2K. That ain't my business. I've been telling rappers that the numbers thing is a trick. When you are attached to the label and in good graces, all your numbers should be well if you're making good music, because they're going to exercise every channel that they have at their disposal. Your job is when you get there to understand, pull information out, and still make sure you stay connected to the people on the other side, because at any moment when you piss them off, they take their hands off of it. They know how to make it look different. And if you've been depending on the look to separate yourself the whole time, you're going to have trouble maintaining that. I hope I'm not losing anyone. But another thing you have to do as a young creator or content person or rapper or personality or brand is understand why your people are there, right? Again, if you keep bringing music to people that's there because they like when you talk, you're going to fail. Not that you fail, but you're going to move slower than you would like to move. Right? Saweetie has brand deals and all these other kind of things happening. So clearly she has some equity somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it. And if it is in music, what's the approach? What is our approach to music? Do we do this thing backwards? Do we drop 4 singles, then the album? Do we drop the album, then go 4 singles? Do we spread the interviews out or bang them all? But like, that's another thing I really not understanding, right? Is the banging of all these interviews up back to back like that. That's so old school to me. You know, my conversation with these rappers, I you know, if they want to have them in the midst of all of that, I can do that too. But I kind of be wanting to have, you know, spread these things out where we can have fresh ideas and your fans can see another side of you. You know what I'm saying? Or at least something different from yesterday. Right? It's how you ain't lived no time from 4 hours ago, your last interview. So that tells me that they care very little about this. Not the rappers, just this content thing. It's a real job. It's a machine. It's a business. Right? While y'all are wanting to listen to great conversations, they're just trying to have a certain output to help the algorithm with the projections and the project that they have coming out. But I always told y'all that there's something that happens with your social media presence. There's a conversion that has to happen, right? For those of you that's unaware, I had a YouTube channel at first that was doing great. It got taken down. Now, when that got taken down, I said, wow, this conversion that I'm going to have to do again is going to be a heavy lift. So I don't need to waste this. So instead of converting those thousands of people over to YouTube, I sent that energy to Patreon first, right? So you send that energy to Patreon where it's very rare that it gets taken down or something weird like that happens. And so then I made YouTube my third leg. Now, when dealing with YouTube, I understand how to play this algorithm and how to play these games that these other dudes been playing for a lot of years. When you look at the conversion that's needed to be effective on these platforms and what will make someone go from Instagram to YouTube to check out the full video, right? The 12 million people that's following you. See, y'all don't understand this thing is more than just a one-step process. First, you get someone to follow you. That's a hell of a thing, especially for celebrities. They act like that's saving the world. That's why I salute all the real ones. They just hit me, boom, boom. I fuck with you. It ain't. Some of them will come look around and dip out. They think following you is saving the world. So to get boom, first you get to follow. The following where it stop though. Now there's people follow you that don't like nothing. There's people that like stuff that don't comment. There's people that comment that won't share. Right? There's people that share that won't save. Right? And so there's something that you have to do to activate these little things. And your content has to invoke some kind of emotion. Number one, the share, everyone knows. The share button is always activated by emotion. Period. The like button, I'll give that emotion to, but not as much as the share. But you got to kind of figure out what holds the weight. Now, you can't overthink this. This has to be a sharp, fast thing, and you have to put it out. But you got to understand how to convert these things. And this conversion is very important in the marketplace. Matter of fact, it's accounted for in the marketplace, right? There was a time where you just went off social media. Now you want to see a conversion, all right? What's happening with your social media? What does the link in bio look like? What percentage of people that are clicking on that? What's the number on that, right? And so this speaks to the people that you can take, that follow you, that you can take from this platform over to Spotify. That's why I tell my people, man, you know, it's important that you share. It's important because we're fighting up against this algorithm and these ancient individuals that's already been in place, right? And so when you put in an L, Loon don't pop up. I got a problem with that. My people need to fix that. Yeah, now we got to get the search history up. You understand me? So understanding all these little things is important. Speaking of conversion, we're going to look at a little bit of what Kanye West has did after he's popped out. Let's take a look.
Yeah? You mind if I record or? That's good.
How you feeling?
Good, right here. Another Monday.
Who that on
Huh?
Who's that?
Oh, it's the Justin Bieber. He gave me the sticker.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Hey, come on.
All right, for those of you that's watching and listening, we are looking at Kanye West just pulled up to some compound, not sure what's happening. I think he's about to announce that he's running for president and just speak about a few things. I want to take a look at this, number one, to see his spirit, to see what type vibe he is in, but also see what information he's kicking out and how he feels.
Bro, good morning. How you feeling? Feeling good.
Oh, there you go. Hey,
What's good? What's good?
what up, man? How's it going?
I'm all right. What's going on?
Did we get that complex con footage from Sam? Could we call him?
Which one called it? Has a stand. I hit him up. He was saying something about.
Father, thank you for bringing us together this morning. Thank you for starting this week off. Thank you for waking up. Thank you for the oxygen. Thank you for the food. So what we're doing is working on training, working, developing, going from cotton to developing the cotton to developing the clothes. We do a lot of research with military clothing, with Yeezy, Helmut Lang, Ralph Lauren. As you can see, Balenciaga. We really like to cut the Balenciaga pieces, and that's the reason why we work with them.
Let me just let y'all know what's going on, those of you that's listening, not watching the video. So he's in this room, and he has a lot of clothing that I think he's either worn, bought to redistribute, right? Balenciaga, a lot of different things just laying around. And he's kind of speaking to what his plans are. And so I just want to keep you guys up to date of what's happening.
A lot. And then applying it to just be, you know, a uniform. Like this is a uniform you're wearing. It looks super fresh with the grays and everything and the white sneakers and everything. That's just like a hood basic right there. And say like this jacket that I'm wearing right now, it took like.
I want to pay attention to Ye, right? When I'm looking at him, he doesn't necessarily look broken, right? It doesn't look like he's someone that is going through some of the things that it was intended for him to go through. Now, that doesn't mean anything. We know that we come out with a, you know, the black man poker face. Yeah, now the black man poker face is second to nobody. Going through hell but looking like heaven. We know what that's like. And so when I'm looking at him, I'm looking for any indications that he feels like he's lost. I don't see that, but that doesn't mean that he understands the well, he has to understand, but I want y'all to understand the magnitude of the war that he started. This is not something that goes away with social media.
Everything and the white sneakers and everything. That's just like a hood basic right there. And say like this jacket that I'm wearing right now, it took like a lot of ideas and we mix it together. It's almost like the Pixar jackets, like taking a rip stop. Because usually if you get a bomber, they do it in this nylon, but we're using biodegradable fabric. So everything had to be this dry fabric. So it doesn't create landfills, it just goes back into the earth. And then we just kept working on the cut over and over and then just put the hoodie with it. You know, you never know when you might want to just throw your You know what I'm saying? You see this coat? You know what I'm saying? So what we have planned for the week is we have a meeting with civil engineers this week and theologists for the new Donda curriculum. Donda is now the Donda Theology Engineering University. We need people who have vocational training skill sets. This is the way we bring our country back into power. We have to train our children to be able to bring physical things we need in America, right here. You know, we're not gonna talk about what we're not gonna do. We're only gonna focus on what we're gonna do, on what we're gonna do right here in America. The reason why I'm announcing that I'm running for president is I want the FCC to look at my money. If the FCC was looking at my money, there had been a possibility that Adidas wouldn't have went into JP Morgan and froze my account and put a $75 million hold on 4 different accounts. I went from being a multi-billionaire to not being able to use my Apple Pay. 4 nights ago, I couldn't use my Apple Pay because somehow Adidas was able to legally go in and freeze my money. And when I see this, I think, well, if this could happen to me, this could happen to other Americans.
Let me put a fence around what he's speaking about. I always speak about how this is very high level game. You know, there's a reason why these contracts are 46 pages. Really, these can be one-sheeters. But the 46 pages is 100 years of research. There's stipulations and what ifs that's in those contracts that don't mean nothing until they activate it. And so you don't even see that far. And then you look up. I know rappers that sometime would spin off a rap and go make something, and then they'll get a letter from the label. Hey, you know, we own 50% of that. They're like, how you own 50% of this? Y'all ain't got none of yet. Well, you signed over your. There's so much. It's so much game on top of game that you're not gonna be able to understand it until you get to that level. And so you see, he's shocked somehow. He got lawyers on his team that can't explain that. Somehow they were able to go in and freeze my accounts. Yeah, they can't explain it, but it was in that contract somewhere. So they just executed what was in that contract that your people missed. Because again, it's 100 years of research in these contracts. That's why when you come in and trying to simplify them and they try to say, well, this means the same thing as that. Well, why is it that many pages? If these two things mean the same thing, why is it said all like that? Well, it covers so many different scenarios. And so now Kanye find himself in the thinking he putting them in the trick bag and then figure out, hey, they able to go and freeze my account. How they do that? I ain't think they can do that. They let them do that. Yeah, they let them do that.
You know, this can happen to an American that didn't even steal anything, that didn't even hurt anyone. This could just happen to you for saying the wrong idea out loud, for expressing yourself, for expressing frustration. How many of you guys have been at a job and you were frustrated with a manager or a situation and you didn't want to say anything because you didn't want to go back to your dad? You might be taking care of your dad. You know what I'm saying? He might be elderly. And this person at your job can treat you a certain way because you're not going to lose that position because you know you got to take care of your dad. So you deal with a lot of things. You know, you saw what Adidas is trying to do. They showed you the reason why I put in the termination notice to Adidas originally a couple months.
So this is a lot to unpack. I do remember him saying that he wanted to terminate the relationship, and then some kind of way they came out and fired him. So there's some confusion there as to where that first started or who actually initiated the divorce of the relationship. but he spoke to something. He said, though, there's a lot of people out there that have a job that they're dealing with certain circumstances, atmospheres, and scenarios that they're uncomfortable with. But because their livelihood lands at the hands of some person that's called a supervisor at their job, they let them talk to them a certain kind of way and do certain kind of things. I would always be amazed that, you'll cuss your boyfriend out, but your supervisor won't let you be a minute late. And you don't say nothing. But I understand he got you up against the ropes because that's funding your kids eating and things like that. And so he's speaking to that. I remember one time where I had a job, and I'm gonna say this to people. This is a funny thing, right? I remember I had a little job, and sometimes you deal with racist people, and sometimes it ain't racist that say you don't like all black people, but you don't like my kind of black. See, sometimes it ain't that you don't like my race, you don't like my kind. There's a specific kind of black person you don't like, a specific kind of white boy you don't like, specific kind of white person, black man. You understand me? So you have these specific kind of people that you don't really care for, and you can do without bumping into them for the rest of your life. And I happen to be one of them kind for the supervisor, and I felt his energy. Little did he know, I come on the compound, the plantation that I call it. I come on the job with a house bigger than his and more money than him. The problem is I'm on a bullshit probation that put me in a situation to where I gotta get a job. And now I done got in here and figure out, oh man, this is easy money. But it was interesting to me because he thought my lifeline depended on that job, and like so many other black people in that position, you would take him kind of damn near pushing up on you or damn near treating you bad. You damn near picking on me, old school. Cause in a weird way, I was straightening him and he got me fired. But in a weird way, I started to feel like I see him doing that to just the certain kind of black people, certain people. And it was almost like, I think you get off by this. You feel a way by doing this to people up here, like to making people spooked and make them, man, can't lose my job. I got to do what he say. But a lot of them type motherfuckers be powerless in real life. Anytime I see a girl on the phone that like to show out around her friends and, do all these kind of things, I say, oh man, that let me know that you really powerless. And this is your way of trying to snatch your power. Some people only get that kind of verification at the job and shit where they a supervisor or where somebody may need them for some money or need some help on something, and so now they talking extra loud to you and they being hard and nasty to you because they helped you out. Them kind of people there, you got to be careful of them people. Them folks, they're dangerous individuals. You understand me? They is a different kind of species. You know what I mean? But he's speaking right here about a lot of black people and not even black people, about a lot of people that's in a situation at a job where you just can't even speak your mind about what's happening and feel losing that position.
Back is they were trying to steal my company from me and steal my designs. They hired my lawyer. They paid the lawyer, Equan Rowe. They paid this lawyer to sign off my IP, North St. Chicago Psalms IP, to Adidas. This is a major company doing this to a major person in front of everyone. So what happens behind closed doors?
Damn, he just said they stole his IP. Hold up, run that back.
To sign off my IP. This originally, you saw what Adidas is trying to do. They showed you the reason why I put in the termination notice to Adidas originally a couple months back is they were trying to steal my company from me and steal my designs. They hired my lawyer. They paid the lawyer, Equan Rowe. They paid this lawyer to sign off my IP, North St. Chicago Psalms IP, to Adidas. This is a major company doing this to a major person in front of everyone. So what happens behind closed doors? If that can happen to Ye, what can happen to you? To your grandparents, to your parents, to your children, to your cousin, your nieces, your nephews. This is the reason why Jesus has to sit at the throne. And in this Christian company, this Christian country, that's a Freudian slip because we are the youngest startup in history. What can happen?
Run that back one more time.
I put in the termination notice to Adidas originally a couple months back is they were trying to steal my company from me and steal my designs. They hired my lawyer. They paid the lawyer, Equan Rowe. They paid this lawyer to sign off my IP, North St. Chicago Psalms IP, to Adidas. This is a major company doing this to a major person in front of everyone. So what happens behind closed doors? If that can happen.
I need y'all to be clear on what he's saying. If I'm taking Kanye West at what he just said right there, that basically means he just lost all his designs. From this point prior, he owns none of that. And if that's the case, I'm sure he gets a royalty at some point. But if that's the case, now I want people to have the conversation, where does this stand in regards to the move that he pulled? Me and 19 Keys had a long conversation about it. I'm about to drop that too because the culture needs that. Sometimes I believe that we got to just be diligent in our approach. We got to be very particular in how we do these things. And I believe he has a plan. I think he doesn't understand how far they're willing to go. I think he thinks that we blow him up on social media, they let me go, and then that's that on that. No, sir. They just activated something. It's going to be a long fight. They're going to do everything in their power to combat and make sure you don't be successful without them. Because if you're successful without them, you just effectively broke the mold. So they're going to do some things until it's just visible that they're doing it. And even then, they may not stop. But you're dealing with, it's gonna be some consequence, right? And we're not afraid of that. We gotta stand on that. But I want him to know that, yo, it ain't just social media talk. There was a multi-billion-dollar deal that they broke off. Some people are highly upset on that side. Like, Kanye better watch the food he eat. He better watch the cars he get in. Like, this is high-level business. Right? I hope Kanye West is paying attention. This is a multi-billion-dollar deal he just broke up. And I know where I'm from, what they'll do for next to nothing. So, again, this ain't even an American company. This is a multi-billion-dollar deal with a black dude that has broken the situation up. And basically saying he did it on purpose to try to be free. Now we'll see what we'll help him do with his brand, because I'm sure that black people are gonna support him. But it's interesting to hear him hand off the IP, just like, yo, they just whooped us out the IP. They took it. It's over. They literally just took the IP. Pay attention to how many billions of dollars that's worth, because guess what they gonna make sure of? And this is what I tell people about the law and about everything that you see that's held in so high regard, where they tell you there's no way we can let somebody out if they commit that kind of crime or do that kind of thing. There's always a loophole or a way around it in case they get involved so they can get out. It was no way Adidas was gonna lose in this. Like, just let him go and he leave with this. That wouldn't have happened. They would have probably tried to. I'll leave that alone, right? I got sponsors in there as they pay me a lot of money. Let's leave that where it's at. But I'm telling you, they had some bulletproof techniques in there where they wouldn't lose. He just told you they came and hired his lawyer and made him sign over the IP. You know what type business that is? That's big mob business.
Happen to Ye, what can happen to you? To your grandparents, to your parents, to your children, to your cousin, your nieces, your nephews. This is the reason why Jesus has to sit at the throne. And in this Christian company, this Christian country, that's a Freudian slip because we are the youngest startup in history. You know, America, this is a Christian country that has to be ran with strong Christian values. Not this cafeteria pick and choose what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's take the topic of life. Yes, all of my family at Adidas. For so many years, we put together incredible work and incredible designs that changed the game. You know, when we did the foam runner, people from Mercedes-Benz called us and said, this is the design of the year. We are a leading design organization. When we designed the McDonald's box and got Nato Fukasawa, the lead designer of Muji, to design this box, I know that Johnny Ives and Mark Newsom saw that, the Apple designers. I know that you guys in the design world see what we're doing. So at Adidas, what you're doing with the price points, with the Demna collaboration and Balenciaga collaboration, it's not right. It's $1,000. It's $2,000. You have Demna in a golden cage. And at Adidas, to take what he's doing and put it inside of a $2,000 box, so it's only for the rich people, that mentality is played out. It's a dinosaur mentality, and it's only a matter of time till we get hit with an iceberg. We have to raise our consciousness. And how do we have people scamming, selling dope, selling messages of death in order to buy a jacket for $5,000, $6,000? So going into Thanksgiving, I know the people at Adidas are not gonna have the best Thanksgiving. I know that they're not gonna have the best Christmas. But if any way I could indemnify what they've done, even though they took that IP, they hired lawyers to sign it over. I promise everyone out there, those designs, they still good by me. Those designs still good by me. I know y'all saying, we not gonna buy them unless Shay got them. If y'all want those designs, they still good by me. I promise you, I can guarantee you one thing. On Thanksgiving and on Christmas, North, Saint, Chicago, Psalm, they gonna all have a good meal.
You gotta ask yourself a real question, bro. Like, how far did he go, right? Again, I believe that the value that Ye has is the value that he has. But that's his life work that he just had stolen from him because of things that he said. And as I get older, I start to teach myself that Loon, avoiding conflict is a win, right? Avoiding conflict is the victory now. It ain't getting in the conflict and see who win. It's avoiding the conflict now becomes the victory. So when you look at this, you're like, man, that's his life work. Those designs, those classic Yeezy designs, the foam runner, the all of that, what people are wearing, all of that's gone. Not that he can't make new ones, but his life work is gone. His plan has been exposed. Now he has an enemy in the space that's gonna be diligent, right? It's probably in the wheel over there. As long as he's trying to kick up over there, we trying to kick him down forever. We never want to see, right? So now, and again, sometimes this is necessary, but we're just, for the sake of the podcast and trying to get some information, we're just trying to understand the gravity. You know, based on what he's saying, they've frozen 4 of his accounts. They've kicked him. They've stopped him from being able to do tours in the stadiums, which would let him make money. So he can't do tours in stadiums to even get more income that way. So they're trying to really put him in a situation where they're buckling down on him. And they want everybody to watch. I look across the street even at Kyrie, and again, I see everybody in my comments nah, Loon, we got to talk about it. We got to say what we mean and say what's on our mind. And I say to myself, these be the people that don't got nothing. And I get it. But we got to understand that our powerful black men ain't got no business talking. They got other resources. See, the tongue is the poor man's sword. That's the poor man resource. That's all he got is to scream and holler. He defenseless. He don't got the man with resources. He go get his gun when you come in his house. He ain't doing no screaming and hollering. He going to get something that gonna get this situation together. And that's what sometimes we gotta understand, that ain't no need to expose the plan. Gotta remain powerful and remain in stealth mode, right? There's an old saying that says the true strength of the crocodile is in the water. And if that goes over your head, I ain't got nothing else for you. But what that's telling you is that because of the water, the crocodile is so strong, right? Because it's able to sneak up on you. It's hiding in the water, right? And so in my opinion, we don't necessarily have to be loud about what we gonna do. You know, I always been the kind of guy that'll be over here, man. I show like boom, hit him. It done popped it off. I ain't really got to come over here. Come on over. I remember dude did all that to me. We come on over here. We finna get to fighting. You ain't got to do all that when you really trying to fight. You ain't got to do all that. So again, I try to view this and look at it. He don't look like he's beat down. He look like he feel like, yo, I've did this. I've got out this contract. I just want him to know that he's activated a war, not just a little play that this is going to be a long-term thing.
Families. So I'm telling you, this Christmas, this Thanksgiving, whatever Adidas wants to drop, and you know that was a design that we put in, those are good by me. And hopefully this can like heal. This can heal some of the bleeding. Also, I know another thing is, for everyone in contracts, I know that this will never happen again in history. There will never be a situation where people end a multi-billion-dollar deal off of a tweet. Gotcha. So I would like to thank everyone that was involved with this negotiation. Thank God no one was hurt in the process. And I feel free.
All right, let's talk about this. Joe Budden podcast. I think it's reportedly going to start doing one show a week. I don't know if those reports are true or not, but he had a conversation with someone about flirting with the idea of doing one a week. Again, I think it's interesting to watch what's happened over there. The workload has doubled, and he's put new people in positions that he's doubled the workload in. I think it's very interesting. I think he's trying to find a way to bring it down, but he doesn't want to affect that Patreon money. For those of you that don't know his Patreon get down, he has 3 or 4 different tiers. Those tiers make his workload one of such. He has to create enough content to drop almost every day on that channel, right? 2 of those podcasts were accounted for because he would always drop 2 a week. Not every day, 5 days a week, he would have to drop something. So the other 3 days, he would have to record on those 2 days enough to get those 2 podcasts as well as fill in those other 3 days. And I just think the workload is a lot for those guys. I'm not sure if ICE is, I don't know. So I won't speak on that. Let's listen to a little bit of what he said.
And they're attempting to thug people.
When you going to make the pods once a week?
Soon. Like, there's risk attached to that, but once a week I just think of help in a lot of areas. The hosting companies are merging with the advertising company, and they're attempting to thug people. That's what's happening. It's not really a Patreon thing. Like, the hosting is about to be a thing widespread. So it's not really a Patreon thing. We use over 900,000 gigabytes a month. You do with that what you will. Yeah. So I
Because
mean,
you keep everything, right? I haven't seen you delete one thing yet. So
yeah, no, I don't delete. I'm
yeah,
either gonna I'm either going to have to ruin some of the listener experience, and I don't want to do that, or yeah, I want to try the once a week thing publicly. Publicly, every podcaster but me has resorted to clipping y'all to death. They'll record 2 to 3 hours, bleed y'all with clips for a month, and then put it out. That's what everybody's doing for the
yeah.
most part. That's been Mav's thing for a minute, but it's not just him.
So again, he's speaking about the business model of Vlad, Mav, Adam, people like that. I don't think his model will work like that. He's doing current event type things. It may can. I don't know. I think with him wanting to go publicly, you see how he made that clear publicly one a week because he wants to keep that Patreon as steady as he can because that's guaranteed money. That's like owning a house or owning several houses. I want you to understand what he's speaking to. Everybody else is hustling with their podcast. Like I'm hustling with mine. I just had a meeting with Slim and Husky, see what they doing. I got Blue Chew on the line. I got Gold Puff on the line, right? And so we got to put ads in to pay the bills. My supporters understand that we have to pay the bills, just like Wallow and Gilly and them doing a great job at showing you how to make the piece of content worth money. The several different ways that you can make this one piece of content worth money, whether that be sponsorship with a shirt, whether that be plugging somebody's song at the beginning. All these different ways is almost like a fighter with his boxer shorts on, right? At some point, my podcast, it's gonna be logos and shit popping up. It's like the Super Bowl. And so that's what we going for. But he's speaking about, I ain't took no money to do nothing. I don't want to ruin the listening experience, but you leaving a lot of money on the table, right? And so again, your people are wanting more money. They're working a lot. So you got to figure out a way to make more money, to pay them more money. And I think that they don't have merch. That's an issue. I think that they can't go on tour. That's an issue. Or haven't went on tour. That's an issue. I think that him not taking ads and doing any partnerships is an issue with that large audience. The CPM, all of that shit took in consideration. I just think that those things are an issue. Now, can he negotiate what he wants? I don't know. Let's listen to a little more.
There's a few other podcasters that try that. There's a lot of them, man. Podcast to be free. Now that you understand it for a bit, it's going to move into a different phase. And that phase is not going to be so much free. It's the same as the artists that don't really put out albums anymore. They've just switched to something different, and they've done it seamlessly, so people don't really know. Oh, it's dangerous. It's dangerous and it's bad. I can't get into it too much publicly, but that move, that singular move is going to be detrimental for some people. Well, I can't even say that because I don't know what people are using. I know what I'm using. Terabyte. Like it's just this is ridiculous. This
right,
is
you're talking about like your cloud storage, like what you're using.
that coupled with ads. No, neither one of them isolated is a big issue. Like I've been paying these fees. The fees is not a big deal, but as the audience grows, the fees get exponential, I guess.
Yeah.
But them coupled with ad companies, that's like streaming companies partnering with labels. Like it's dangerous, right? Like Patreon schedule will remain the same twice a week. I've been trying to scale this thing back in terms of time where if we could just end this at 2:15, that would be awesome. 2:30, that would be awesome. But we want to unpack everything in the world, so we're unable to do that. And that's expensive. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. $100 to $2,500.
It letting you know some of his negotiations with those guys behind the scene. Man, you guys are unpacking it. So you're charging me and you the one making us stay here longer, man. I see him doing that. Just being clear because I peeped the technique.
Per ad from giant corporations. And I understand that because if you times that a few times, that's a good check every month that people really can't afford to turn away from. So I get that. Holing out was a whole different thing with plenty of reasons attached to it, but they're making it difficult to do so. Even if submit some to these ads, it won't just be littered. I might do a mid-roll and a pre-roll and call it a day because I hate it. I hate listening to a podcast and then can add it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. But there's a solution in here. And again, this is only publicly, right? Like Patreon schedule will remain the same twice a week.
I don't know. I don't know where they're going with that. I mean, we'll keep an eye out on that. That's interesting. Now let's get into this. Young Jock and his wife had a conversation that's been going viral. I have not seen this, so I'm gonna watch it. We about to watch it together. I want to see what everybody's talking about. Let's take a look at what happened.
Are those things like still there, and it's like something that has to be worked on during the marriage?
Well, the things, because I just want to be clear, and I guess this will set it straight for everybody. Anything that is being divulged on the show. So basically, I did not get blindsided by anything on the show. You know, like right. I had a knowledge, like the lady Mita, like she inquired to close a loan at my title company, SRS Title, here in Atlanta. I'm a closing attorney. So, and Jaceel, whenever she did reach out for that, he gave me her information and, you know, basically, you know, we were going to do business. He let me know that he had previous dealings with the lady. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Money green, like whatever. And so I had a working knowledge of all of this. My issue, though, is that when Jaceel brought this situation to me in the form of a business opportunity, I guess, he was forthcoming with me. Now, he just said that it was something from the past, like before his and our relationship. But the way that she is making it seem is that she's been dealing with him since 2008 when he was a married man. And, you know, so it's like, that's weird. That's horrible. It's not far from, I guess, his character at the time or a part of his character. But still, it still would make my ears raise, you know. And then for her to go in to say that she was dealing with him at times where him and I were in a relationship, all this is prior to marriage, like that's unacceptable to me.
So basically someone is informing her that her fiance has been dealing with them as well as been in relationship with her. Just so we're clear, let's continue.
Because again, Jaceel and I have had issues in our past where, you know, I was unfaithful, you know, stuff like that. But that was also within the first year of us knowing and meeting each other, you know. But the time frame that she's speaking of, like we were like serious living together. So it's just like, if any of that is true, like he would be a foul of our relationship and just so wrong, you know. And so that's my thing. And so I know that everybody is of the opinion I shouldn't care because it's before the marriage, but I do care because it's like, don't lie to me and don't have me out here looking like a fool, you know. And I know that sometimes people say, oh, that's cliche, but I'm real serious because in real life, I'm really this girl in real life. Like none of my businesses are fabricated. None of my accolades are exaggerated. No net worth estimates. Hell, they might be estimating that too low. You know what I mean? So like in real life, Kendra, the person, independent of all of this messy, cloudy mess that, you know, Jaceel has, it, like, you know what I mean? It's like I could do without that and be probably better, you know, arguably better off. You know what I mean? So like that stuff bothers me. A ring doesn't make it go away. And I have said this to him several times, and I say this on any platform. I don't care which one it is because it's the truth.
She sound like she's unhappy. She sound like she ain't happy. And that's what again, this ain't about home or his woman, but it's important to listen when these women talk. Because what happens is you can listen and hear then you unhappy. And you unhappy with everything I got. You unhappy with me pushing and pulling for the family, and you unhappy. And so you got to be able to peep that because you dealing with somebody that can't wait to deal with somebody else. Pay attention.
Care about if you were a liar up until the day we got married, or if, you know, you were living whatever type of life while we were just in a relationship. A marriage doesn't cure that. You know, if somebody's a gambling crackhead on one side of the broom, when they step on the other side of the broom, they still let the blackjack still basing up. Like it's no different. So like I actually care about that. And I shared with him, and I was rattlesnake serious. Like, we still within the annulment period, okay? You know, the pre-dump there.
Says rattlesnake serious?
Like, I'm serious. Like, we can go ahead and undo this, and I can continue to move north, and you can continue to be in disarray. Like,
I don't care.
And I'm just serious. And so it's just like, I care about what happened before. It's like we was living together like we were married and stuff. So it's like, you know, and I explained this to him, I explained this to the world and my friends and everybody else. If any of this stuff is true, even though it was before we jumped the broom, like, I'm not okay with it. I'm not going to be okay with it. And so to answer your question, you know, we would need to work on stuff like that. Like, if you, like, for instance, if he lied to me about anything, that's something that, in my opinion, needs therapy. We need counseling, stuff like that, because I don't want to stay together with a man who is a liar, a cheater, a deceiver, and a womanizer, a gaslighter. I don't want to be like that. It's plenty of men out here who do not fit that description, who I feel like would be worthy of my time. And it's just like, if that's who he is, if that's who you are, I gave the option of annulment. I'm a lawyer. I know everybody in the county where we live at, one of our houses at. I know people in all the counties we got property in. So it would literally be quick. So I just, you know, it don't matter that it was before marriage.
I just think that even still, when your woman is so quick to do things like that, you know, and again, I'm only using her as an example. I don't know this to be the case with them, and I'm clear on that, and I try to be not out of fear of anyone, out of respect of the game. For your woman to be so quick to say things about you that's unfavorable, I think people that are narcissists don't even understand when they tearing people down. So if every time I come around you, you got a negative thing to say, or you trying to tear away from how everybody else look at me, say that I'm LeBron James and everybody calling me king, and every time you come in the house, you ain't no king. I don't know why that's getting to your head. Real kings were born in the 1700s. It's clearly 2023. It's like, yo. Seem like you playing defense. Seem like a hater to me.
Just like, and he knows that, so.
And not shout it. I'm not saying shout it seem like a hate. I'm saying those kind of scenarios.
Watching to see, you know, what he was lying about, what he was telling the truth about, if we even find that out, because I'm not even sure we find that out. So we float no faith.
You want to let that one go where it's at?
Oh, no, I didn't know if he was going to ask another question.
Oh, no, I don't mean like that.
I mean, she gave you such a spill. So of course,
attorney, let him figure out all that other stuff. I don't care about it. You know what I mean? But it's like, I just don't want to appear to look weak and look like I'm being lied to and manipulated by somebody who's supposed to be my husband, my rock, and my protector. So, you know, that's just where all of this comes. It boils down to just that. It's not a good look, and it's not a good look for like young girls and for our daughters. It looks horrible. Like I told him, I said, now take one of our daughters meeting and falling in love with a man like you, who exudes and exhibits the behavior and has every trait that you have, the good, the bad, the ugly, and in between. And would you be comfortable giving him away to her?
One thing,
I meant that.
I can answer that question wholeheartedly, and I can stand on it. I would not be mad, because one thing.
All right, so this is a conversation where she's basically saying she doesn't want their son to be like him. So I'm good enough for you to have a son with. I'm good enough for you to live with. I'm good enough for me to pay half the bills and for me to help you understand life and all these things. But I ain't good enough for your son to act like me, or for our son to exhibit the things that I exhibit, right? See, they want to pick and choose. This how you know you're dealing with people that using you. Because people don't love you for who you are. People love you for what they want from you. And a lot of times they don't even gotta be financial. It's even if they want your love, even if they want your attention, even if they want your affirmation, whatever it might be, they just want that. They don't want to understand these other things, and that's important to understand. But when you deal with these women or these guys, pay attention to the things that they say. Pay attention to the things that people say. Because oftentimes, wrapped up in what comes out of people's mouths is what lives in their heart. So pay attention to what people say.
About me, I'm a provider and I'm a protector. That's one thing.
But being a provider and a protector does not make it okay to be a liar, a cheater, a womanizer. No, it doesn't.
Listen.
Let me respect Shorty too, right? Let me respect this woman, because everybody, and this is important, everybody has a right to choose whether or not they want to be with people. You can't make me feel like that what you consider normal is okay for me. I might not like bacon in my eggs. You might like bacon. You can't convince me that I'm dumb or I'm overreacting, right? Even I had a conversation over on Thanksgiving with my family about like noise, and as people get older, they get more affected by noise in the house, like smaller children banging and making noise and getting up and doing stuff at all times of the night, and using the kitchen for this or using the bathroom for this, when damn, you shouldn't be doing that in the bathroom, or you shouldn't be doing that in the kitchen type thing. And so we had a long conversation just about position, just about convenience. Because if you work hard, you try to provide your life convenience, especially when you get home. And so anyway, people can't force on you what they feel like is normal and cool. If you don't like people knowing where you live at, you can't be with somebody that's cool with people knowing where they live at. Because now you'll be living in hell, because you're going to spend all your time trying to convince this person, nah, don't let nobody know. Why they letting people know? Why they know you can't nobody put
that just makes you.
And now your life turns into that. Now that's a whole nother problem you wouldn't have had you just been with somebody who felt the same. Yeah, I don't like people knowing where I live at. That be the thing. You try to force these shits. You let let me explain to you why people should know where you live at. And then you still don't get it. Well, let me break it down. First I explain, let me break it down. Then you try to break it down. And they ain't getting it, man. They ain't thinking like that. They on some other shit. So now you created a problem based on who you dated. But she's basically telling this dude, I don't want my son to be a womanizer. I don't want my son to be like you. And if that's your true feelings, baby girl, I get it. But we shouldn't be together. Not that you wrong. If that's your experience with me, that's cool, right? It ain't cool, but that's your experience with me. I can't change that. If you left whatever our dealings was feeling like I was a womanizer, or I lied to you, or I mistreated or mishandled you, right? As deeply as I want to apologize, that ain't going to change your experience. So I got to deal with what you dealt with, however you feel about that. I can't change that. But if that's how you feel, we need not be together. Why would you marry me and I'm the nigga that you and truly believe is a womanizer, is a liar, is a this, is a that? Why do you want to be with me? Because I don't want to be with somebody that's calling me that. This is another thing that I think people get confused. Sometimes you can have two different kind of people. You can have somebody that's calling you that thing, those kind of things, and you can have the other person that ain't gonna be with somebody that's calling them those kind of things, that's diminishing them and trying to take from them. I just don't understand how you can tell a man, how you expect a man to feel in that moment. Me as a man, how I'm supposed to feel with you telling me I don't want my son to act like you. Don't you think it's probably a better way to say that, especially on TV, unless it's for TV, wink, wink.
Protector who is a liar, who is a cheater, who is a womanizer. That's not okay.
I do not practice lying on the regular. One thing about it, when you talk about any human that you're going to ever encounter, everybody done told a lie.
Yeah, I know.
Okay? Everybody
ain't did what you done did.
Hey, you right.
Exactly.
Everybody ain't did
so
what you done
don't try to. I know, but don't try to normalize.
I'm not
what you have
I
done.
absolutely am not. What I'm
Like
saying,
your life is not normal.
what
It's
I'm
not no
saying-
model that I want Amir to follow, a money to follow, cadence to follow.
Okay.
Not.
Okay.
And I don't think their mothers would either. So let's be honest.
So what
Okay.
what are you saying? What is that saying about me?
So she's not even the mother? Let's run that back.
Don't try to. I know, but don't try to normalize.
I'm not
what you have
I
done.
absolutely am not. What I'm
Like
saying,
your life is not
what
normal.
I'm
It's not no
saying-
model that I want Amir to follow, a money to follow, cadence to follow.
Okay.
Not.
Okay.
And I don't think their mothers would either. So let's be honest.
Oh man, I thought you was the here I am at the bat for you. Now hold on, you ain't gonna tell my baby mama what her son need to be like. Now that's a bit, I don't know, that's deep. How you gonna tell us that ain't your son? Oh man, that's deep.
So what are you saying? What is that saying about me? I'm your husband.
Well, I'm
and
just-
you basically saying you wouldn't want my sons to be like me.
I would
I'm
not.
successful.
I would not want
I'm
them to
successful.
have as
I
many
take care of
children.
my kid. Okay.
And I would not want
So
them
what?
to have all of these different situations. That's not something.
Let me ask y'all this. Is there indicators of how women feel in that conversation? I believe it is. It sounds like to me she feel like deep down she's settled. Because don't sound like I'm good enough to be your man. Let me run some of that back.
Saying, what is that saying?
Would either. So let's be honest.
So what are you saying? What is that saying about me? I'm your husband.
Well, I'm
and
just-
you basically saying you wouldn't want my sons to be like me.
I would
I'm
not.
successful.
I would not want
I'm
them to
successful.
have as
I
many
take care
children.
of my kid. Okay.
And I would not want
So
them
what?
to have all of these different situations. That's not something I would
I
want for
understand.
them.
I don't necessarily want that for them either.
Okay.
But don't
I do
sum,
want- I
but
want
don't
them to
sum me up just in the fact because I got kids. Because let me tell you something.
It's not just because you have children.
I'm gonna say it like this.
It's
though.
not just because you have children.
I'm gonna say it.
That's
Put it
not
out
what
here.
I was saying.
Put it on the table. Come down, so
That's
I'll say
that's
what's on
not
my
what
mind.
I was saying.
Because
It's
I
not
take
because
offense
you
to
have.
that.
It's not. Well, I'm sure you would.
I take
But if
offense
you
to that.
listen to it from a logical standpoint,
it ain't
it's
just a
not the
logical
fact that you
standpoint.
have children.
It's well, you say that.
The children are not
You
the
say
issue.
that. Don't just make it seem like I'm a bad person. Don't say make some
I'm not.
some
I'm
fucked
just
up
saying.
individual. What you're not gonna do is do that.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's how you put it. You said you wouldn't want my son to be like me.
I wouldn't want them to do some of the things that you
Okay.
have done.
Oh, and I wouldn't want my daughter
Yeah, but that ain't what you says respectfully.
to do some of the things you've done.
I
We're
know,
human. That's
but you
what I'm
would
trying to
want them
say.
to do majority of the things that I've done.
Listen, what I'm saying is when you talk about me, don't sum
Say
me
facts,
up.
right?
Don't sum me up on the worst side of me or what you consider the worst side of me. Because ain't nobody fucking perfect. So don't do that. That's what we're not gonna do. Because as a man, guess what? I got to stand on mine too.
Yeah, you do.
Because guess what? Let me tell you something.
do.
I didn't go to college. Guess
That's
what?
fine.
I want my kids to go to college. So we can say that right
good.
now. I don't want them to go that direction. I want them to go to college. I can say that with you too.
Right.
But don't sit here in front of the world, in front of a medium, and say, "Oh, I wouldn't want my son or your sons to be like you." Hold on. No, we got
Not
you gonna
necessarily
put some
be like
respect
you.
on my name. Because at the end of the
put some
day, I'm
respect on your
successful.
name.
I take care of my kids.
Okay.
Ain't none of my kids out here in dire need of love and support. So we ain't gonna do that. Okay? Because I don't appreciate that. Because there's some things about you that I could say I wouldn't want my daughters to do.
Go ahead.
I'm not
Tell
gonna do
me.
that. I respect you and I love you enough.
I want this magazine
no,
to know
no. I
what
respect
it is
the
about me you
integrity.
don't want your daughters
I'm not gonna
to
do
be
that.
like. You should.
I'm not gonna do that.
Be my guest.
I'm not
gonna
do
be
that.
slighted, honey.
I'm not gonna do that. That's where we have to draw the line.
Okay.
Because I don't care because the camera in front of
giving
me
you the
or
green
somebody's
light,
asking me
sweetheart.
questions. I'm not gonna reveal my everything that go on with me. Just like right now, you ain't gonna sit here in front of these people and tell what your credit score is. You ain't gonna sit here and tell them your social security number. You ain't gonna sit here and tell them what's in your bank account either.
I won't.
Okay, so some things are better left fucking unsaid and in the private, and that's what I'm gonna do. So when you addressing me, don't ever make it seem like I'm the worst of the worst, because I'm not.
Okay.
Because I came through and changed your life, and it wasn't about me having no money. It was about the
Right, 'cause
integrity.
that's
It was
not
about
what it was.
about my integrity. It was about me standing up for you. It was about me helping you open your eyes to see things that no other man has gotten you to do. So when you talk about me and address me, please be mindful of that, because I love you for who you are,
I
good
love
and
you.
bad.
You know I love you for who you are.
But
What
I
else
would
could I
never
love
say
you
to
for?
the world
She's still dissing him, in my opinion. You know I love you for who you are. What else I love you for, nigga? You ain't having nothing. No, you ain't having no emotion. I got to love you bum ass for who you are, bum ass nigga. That's what it sound like to me. Let me make sure I ain't made that up.
Good and bad.
You know I love you for who you are.
But I would never say to the love you for.
And so what's also interesting is oftentimes when people explain relationships, there's two totally different experiences. As you see, his experience in her life from his perspective versus his experience to her life from her perspective. She says that, yo, you came in, it wasn't about the money because you ain't had no money, so it was integrity and this and that. And she also said that I wouldn't want them to be like you because you had so many kids and this and that. And a lot of kids speak to your behavior, I guess, or your sexual activity. And she spoke to that. But he said that, yo, I came in your life. I changed your life. I showed you this. I stood up for you. I showed you things that no other man has showed you. And just think about that. Two people are married with that much confusion in the middle of what each other offered to each other. That's why if you're confused about what I've done in your life, don't worry about me being with you. I don't care about being with you. If you can't see the value I've added to your life, from every perspective, don't even worry about it. I'm not even trying to make you understand it. But what happens is people will get married and have no understanding of what each other felt like they even contributed. Because he thinks he changed your life, put you on TV. Picture you think you changed a girl's life and all she got to say about you is, I don't want your little boys to be like you. Damn, man, I changed your life. You was living like this when I met you. You was doing this when I met you. Now you critical of me. How we go from that to that? That's weird, but that's how it is. It's interesting in relationships, though. People have two totally different perspectives on the same events. Oftentimes you got the man saying, yo, shawty, I taught you. I was faithful. I came home every night. I took you on dates. You'll have her saying, you didn't talk to me. You never listened to me. And it's like, yo, damn, I thought I provided what men provide. Now, if I didn't and you didn't say nothing and you throw this all at me 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 years in and expect me to understand it, there's a problem. We've identified an issue. Most men run from complicated issues with people they care about, dummy. This is why people don't. A lot of people wonder why these people from these other races take their men, or the men tend to lean that way. A lot of people call these dumb women, but it be the situation where dudes don't have to go back and forth about all this and that and this and that and this. All day, every day, that and this and that and this. All day, every day, that and this and that and this. Man, people want to chill and have, make their money come to a place where it's some chilling going on. Well, what the hell was I talking about? Hey, it's your boy Loon from It's Up There Podcast. Thank you for watching the video you just watched, and make sure you subscribe by hitting the button you see on the screen, or go to the next video by hitting this right here you see on the screen. Biggest Up There Podcast.